What is up, everyone? It's Ben Falcons Media Corner back again with a brand new AK After I Saw review episode for today. This is going to be my review on the film that was released last year in 2021, which this one I was dying to review this film last year, even though I had a few things in my plate, like I was starting to get back at my job since the whole pandemic happened, and I was also seeing some new stuff for the time. But since I'm off work, I feel like I should get this review over and done with. So today's review is going to be my review on the 2021 supernatural slasher horror film, and this is the direct sequel to the original film that was released back in 1992, while ignoring the two sequels that we did get that were released back in the 90s. And this is, of course, my review on Candyman. Now, Candyman, this is directed by Nia DaCosta, and like I said, this is a direct sequel to the original Candyman that was released back in 92, and it's ignoring the two sequels that we did get in the 90s, which I've never seen them before, because I've heard terrible things about them. So for this sequel, it's just like what Halloween did, since we did get an official sequel to the original Halloween, which we did get back in 2018, for that film it was set 40 years after the original film. And, for that film, it retconned the whole franchise, so it completely ignored the sequels that we did get after when the original Halloween was first released back in 78. So Candyman has done that again. But this one is set several years after the events of after the original film. And so in this movie, we follow a young man named Anthony, played by Yahya Abdul-Manteen II, who is a young artist he's a painter. And in this movie, we see him he starts to learn about the urban legend of this famous urban legend known as Candyman, which if you look in the mirror and you say his name 5 times while looking in the mirror, you're pretty much screwed. You pretty much die. And we also do learn about the backstory of how he was created to become this famous urban legend. And for Anthony, for his obsession with Candyman, it starts to make him go a bit insane, and he starts to learn more about the truth of Candyman himself. While we see him get more obsessed with him than ever before in this movie. So that's pretty much the story of Candyman. Now, back in 2020, when I did see the trailer for this movie, when this movie was about to come out in that year until it got delayed numerous times because of what, I didn't even know this was going to be a remake or reboot to the whole franchise of Candyman. And even back then, I never really watched any of those movies until last year. I did watch the first movie when I was about to see this new Candyman movie, and I really enjoyed the first Candyman. I thought it was a great slasher movie. And for the two sequels, I never really bothered watching them since I've heard terrible things about them. And I did a bit of research for this new one, thinking, was this a remake or reboot to the whole franchise, until I heard this was a direct sequel to the original film, and just completely ignoring the other two sequels that we did get. And it kind of reminded me with the Halloween franchise. Like when we did get the new Halloween film back in 2018, I thought that was a reboot to the franchise until I heard this was a direct sequel to the original film, and just, it retconned the whole franchise and completely ignored the sequels that we did originally get, Halloween 2, H2O, and Resurrection and all that. It felt like that all over again, but with Candyman here. And I even rewatched the trailers before seeing this new movie, and I was really excited for this movie since I love horror films. And I went to see this on opening day back in August of last year, and my screening was really packed. There was a lot of people in my screening who were really excited for this movie. And after walking out of this movie, I gotta say here, you guys, I had a blast with the new Candyman here. This was an awesome slasher movie, and I gotta even say here as well, I enjoyed this one a lot more than the original Candyman movie here. There was just so many new stuff in this new Candyman movie, which I did not really expect at first, because again, I thought this was a reboot at first, but after seeing the whole new stuff in this movie, I was genuinely blown away with everything here in this movie, as well as really satisfied with. It has really interesting characters here in this movie. The character of Anthony, I found him really interesting here in this movie. When we see his obsession with Candyman leads him to insanity and all that, and we actually get to see him in this movie where he looks in the mirror and he thinks he is Candyman. I was blown away from that. And for himself in the film, where he feels like for himself, he kind of has a purpose to this whole situation with Candyman, I was genuinely satisfied with. And as for other things that happens to him in this film, it's really kind of hard to explain, really, because I don't want to get into spoilers here for this film, especially for those who haven't seen this new Candyman movie. But for Yahya Abdul-Manteen II's performance in this film, I thought he was terrific in this movie. And as for everyone else in the film, they were all great. But when it comes to other characters in the film, outside the main characters in the film, they do make some dumb choices in the film, mostly with looking in the mirror and saying Candyman in the mirror 5 times while looking themselves in the mirror. It was dumb, but obviously they had to put in this film because it wouldn't be a fun horror film and all that. But I foreseen that it was still kind of fun, but it was kind of dumb though at the same time. But for Nia DaCosta's direction in this film, it's a visually stunning film. Like the way it looks and all that, like the tone, the music, and the editing. She did a phenomenal job from all of that. And even like the opening credits in the film, she did an incredible job from all of that. And it also has some social commentary too, which I thought she did a great job from doing that for a horror film. Ever since Jordan Peele did that with Get Out, he did a phenomenal job from all of that. And since he's producing the film, he has nothing to do with directing this film. But for Nia DaCosta directing talent for directing the whole social commentary in this movie, she did a great job from all of that. And the violence in the film is extremely bloody here in this film. That I thought they were generally fun and entertaining. Even towards the final act in the film, which I found the final act to be even really insane here. And I think even extremely bloody than other bloody moments in the film that I thought were really, really entertaining and fun. And even for myself watching the final act in the film, I was genuinely on the edge of my seat, as well as for other moments as well that really had me on the edge of my seat. So in the end, guys, Candyman, this new Candyman here, I thought this was an awesome sequel to the original film. And again, I like this one a lot more than the original film. It's definitely one of the best horror sequels I've seen. Definitely one of the best horror films of last year. And if you're a fan of course, if you're a fan of the original Candyman, or if you're a fan of the cast or the director or anything like that, you'll definitely have an absolute blast with this one. Before you check out this one, definitely watch the original Candyman film. You may have a good time watching the one like I did. And you will be like myself, being very satisfied with this whole new Candyman movie here, just like I did. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Candyman here. I'm going to give Candyman 2021 4.5 out of 5. Awesome score. Despite having one little nitpick, I still had a blast with this one. And like I said, this is definitely one of the best horror films of last year. But not my number one, because personally, my favorite horror film of last year is A Quiet Place Part 2. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching for my AK After I Saw review on Candyman 2021. Let me know what you think of this sequel, if you have seen this before, if you've just recently watched this for the first time. Did you have a blast of this, or were you very disappointed with this? So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more reviews, and as always, this has been Falcon's Media Corner signing off.